أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم. Last time we had discussed screen time, particularly screen time used by the kids, whether on computer, mostly on smartphone or in any other manner. And I had shown statements of some mega IT organizations, heads, and other uh, personalities, that how they take this matter and how they treat this matter when it comes to their kids, whether their kids use the smartphones and how they regulate the screen time. And in this perspective, it may be kept in mind the points which I think were very obvious are that we in the East, particularly in the Muslim world also particularly, we follow others many times out of inferiority complex, or we generally follow the West just because something has been innovated, has been created, has been invented in the West, or they are using it, but we don't look at it how it is being used or how it is being regulated in the society, and particularly in the families. And this issue which we are discussing is broader, as broader as the society is, but at the same time, it is as deep or deeper as the family is. Here, hello, hello,
Yes,
hello.
We are here
Is my
just to
slide,
study.
is my slide moving?
Yes. The slide is fine. You just move the slide. We haven't moved it. Yes, we're still at Mark
It is
Zuckerberg.
not, slide is not appearing on my side at all.
Why
So
don't why if
let
you
me,
stop sharing and share again?
okay, I
We
stop
have
sharing.
we have
I will
our
stop.
president expert here.
Okay,
Brother
I'm
Shams is
stopping.
here.
I've
Yes.
stopped it and now I'm sharing again. I've
Okay.
stopped it, sharing
You,
again. Now is it
okay.
visible?
We can
Visible?
see
Can
the
you see it?
slides. You want to move it? Move the slide
Oh,
and
it's
see.
moving now?
Yes, we can move. Yeah, yeah. You're moving it now.
Okay,
It's
thank
fine.
you. Thank you.
Wait, wait.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you.
picture is not there, but okay, now we can see the beautiful
Okay,
face
thank
here,
you.
the anthem.
Sorry for this interruption. Sorry. Uh, Sorry again. Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. So in this regard, we have discussed certain personalities, how they deal with this matter, how they regulate it in their own families. And in that regard, I had discussed some very prominent names, but today we are coming to Mark Zuckerberg of Meta. It has been reported from him, as he has said, and it has been reported from him that he is cautious about his children's screen time. He says that he is cautious about his children's screen time, which has been reported. Zuckerberg draws a line against excessive screen use and entertainment. Particularly, entertainment is noteworthy. Excessive use for entertainment. He emphasizes active engagement over passive consumption. Active engagement with the technology, with the screen, with the content, with the technology which we are using, active engagement and passive consumption. This is also important to note. Many people think that I'm not using smartphone, I'm not using computer, but in the family, when the television screen is on, or when the smart telephone screen is projected, there are many ways of passive consumption also. And there is another very important example of active engagement, that people engage in games, active games. So here he is drawing a line between the active engagement, for example, playing games on the television, on the screen, on the smartphone, and also passive consumption, just listening or just watching. So these are all different aspects of the same problem, same issue. And these also need to be managed. Even passive consumption is, is to be managed, and that is what he is doing. Why it is necessary? To promote meaningful interactions. And now we had seen last time also that what does he mean, what people mean by meaningful interactions. Meaningful interactions with what? Meaningful interactions in games on the screen, meaningful interactions on the television screen, meaningful interactions off the screen with the toys, for example, or I had added, they have not added. I had added that to us, the most important aspect of meaningful interactions is the human interaction. And that human interaction is still missing in their own statements. Even if we take their statements, human interaction is missing there. And I have put it in the bracket. Particularly human interactions are missing. Beyond digital screens, the human interactions have to take place beyond digital screen. And I think I had given an example. For example, when one adolescent person came for counseling and I discussed with him, he said that I play chess and that there's no harm in playing chess. It is not haram. I play on the screen, I play on smartphone. But I tried to explain to him that there's no human interaction. Off the screen, you may have toy interaction, but that is not also, that is not human interaction. Therefore, when we are teaching our kids, are teaching these, adult or adolescent people, we have to consider human interactions beyond digital screens, not within the digital screens, or even off the screen, not just the interactions with any objects, but the interactions with human beings. For example, I suggested them that you play chess if you like it, if it is so important for you, play it with your brother, play it with your father, play it with your mother, play it with your friends. But consume your time, spend your time, invest your time in the human interactions. Now, Zuckerberg monitors screen time with his kids. Here, people usually resent. And I have seen in these meetings, in these sessions, in these counseling sessions, that wives sometimes object to the husbands watching their cell phones, for example, screening their cell phones, and even husbands object to their wives looking at their smartphones. But here in the same society in the West, we find that the parents are monitoring the screen time of their kids. And it is legal, it's not illegal. But sometimes people are afraid that the children report this to the schools, and some schools are intervening, that this is an unnecessary intervention from the from the parents. But then the parents have to understand and discuss with the management, school management also. And I had given some examples. For example, New Zealand, they have passed strict laws in this regard, rules in this regard. For example, in Australia, the schools not only limit the screen time of the children, but they also monitor the screen time, that which websites they visited and for which content they visited, how much time they spent, how many times they went there, and that is all recorded and it is monitored, it is audited by the schools. By the schools, I'm repeating, in Australia. And Switzerland, for example, some Scandinavian countries, New Zealand, they have passed strict rules. But we are still suffering from inferiority complex that in the Muslim world, in our societies, we are not willing to take up these exercises. We are not even able to control the internet traffic. These are very important issues of this IT age. Zuckerberg told Fox News in 2019, I don't generally want my kids to be sitting in front of a TV or a computer for a long period of time. 2019 and today we are in 2015, and I don't think that such a statement or any rule or any regulation or any management instruction has appeared in the Muslim world or in many countries. This is, I think, extremely important to note. Kindly note this. Zuckerberg doesn't let his kids on social media. He doesn't allow his kids on the social media. It's not only the use of a screen, but within that, another important subsegment is that he doesn't let his kids on social media. And these are not my words, because social media, we don't know what misinformation, disinformation is being spread on the social media. And the kids don't understand it. There is a lot of, rather 100%, the content which is appearing on social media, it is definitely unfiltered. It is unfiltered. When all this unfiltered content is appearing, it has influence of minds, and it is designed, its algorithm is in such a way, designed in such a way that it affects, it influences the minds. It has a propaganda value. And there is a lot of disinformation and misinformation. I'm not still discussing the issues of morality, even if we leave those issues beyond. But still, this is very important to note that social media is banned by Zuckerberg for his children, and in some countries, and in some institutions. This, I think I had pointed out earlier also. Your attention is your most valued asset? Do we treat it as an asset? Why it is an asset? Because we are consuming some time, some important time of our life in inattention. When we are not paying attention, we are sitting in front of the screen, we are sitting in front of the Zoom presentation, we are sitting before the in front of the oration of the Imam in the masjid, we are wasting time. We have no attention. So when what are we then what we are in fact wasting? We are wasting the most important aspect, the most important asset of on this planet of any living thing, of any living thing, any living being, any living animal on this planet. The most important aspect is the time. Al Asr. Kindly read that surah again and again. Wal Asr, innal insana lafi khusr. I don't think we can emphasize the importance of time as an asset in better words. And when we are inattentive, it means we are wasting our asset of time. We are sitting there 1 hour, 2 hour Jummah khutbah. We are sitting before Zoom. We are sitting before in the class, but we are not attentive. And then we have discussed, if you kindly recall the matter, the subject of taqwa. Without attention, there can't be taqwa. We can't claim taqwa with God. We can't claim consciousness with God. We can't claim connectivity with God if we are inattentive, if you have no attention, if you have no consciousness. We don't know what we are speaking before God or what is being presented before God by the Imam. We don't know. We are equally responsible what the Imam is presenting to God. And we are following it. We are following him blindly. Taqleed, blind taqleed, without understanding a word and without attention. Without consciousness, it means without taqwa. There is no concept of taqwa without attention. And then there are other aspects we have discussed the taqwa, then first the attention, then it requires intention also. It requires practice also, the practical aspect. I'm not going into that, but here the important aspect is, and again, these are not my words. Zuckerberg, your attention is your most valued asset. Otherwise, wal asr insan lafi khusr. Every moment lost inattention is the loss of asset of on this planet from the important asset that is life. Now, from the former Facebook executive, Facebook says, stated, profound concerns about social media's impact on society. Now, we are not just talking about screen time. We are not just talking about gaming, content, attention. We are talking about social media, any kind of social media. Since it is unfiltered, there's 100% risk of disinformation, misinformation, immoral information, luring people in a certain direction. It has political implications, it has moral implications, it has social implications, it has economic implications. Social media ban for the family, for the children of Zuckerberg. And now again, this Facebook. He has imposed, these are not my words, I'm repeating, I'm a very small man, I can't put these words in their mouth. He has imposed a strict ban on his own children using social media altogether. Altogether. Again, this is not my word. Can we dare put a limit? If we can't ban it, can we put a limit on the use of social media? Not the screen time, just the screen time, but the social media on the smartphone of our wives, of our husbands, of our children. Can we do that? We blame the West for many ills, but look at these things which they are doing. We don't know. We don't follow them. We follow them in their ills, in their evils, but not in their good, what the good they are doing. Altogether, social media, this particularly social media, highlighting his critical stance on digital engagement. Now, this is a much bigger concept, digital engagement. Now, everything is becoming digital. 2 days back, China has announced digital yuan. Before that, India announced a digital rupee. So it's not just the finance, but there are many other aspects which are being highlighted, and digital engagement in many aspects, in many respects, is every moment, every fraction of the moment, it is increasing. Digital engagement. Is there any limit to it? Can we limit it? If we can't limit it, can we regulate it? Can we regulate its use as a better use? These are very important questions. The questions which we have discussed so far, among all these things, this one, the digital engagement is the most important concept to be understood in its wider perspective. In its wider perspective, digital engagement is a concept. This goes beyond social media. It goes beyond everything. It goes beyond screen time. It goes beyond every other aspect of the technology which we are using. It's a digital engagement, our own engagement with uh, uh, the digital life. Now the life is becoming digital. Then again, the CEO of YouTube and Google, former CEO of YouTube and Google, limits her kids' screen time limits. And I say that we are not thinking of limiting. We can't limit it. I can assure you, the cases which I deal with in counseling, mothers say we can't dare do this. Fathers say, parents say we can't dare do this. Limit the kids' screen time, and she advocates for moderation. What does moderation means? To limit it, to manage it, to reduce it, to harmonize it to the level, to the extent which the child's health, child's eyes, child's brain can bear it. She permits, it's not without permission. It's not without permission. She permits access to YouTube Kids under controlled conditions, for God's sake. Note all these things, introduce it in your family, even if it appears to be difficult. Every digit, electronic digit, which we are using is affecting the neuron, the digits in the neuron is affecting. We have to manage it. And they, under controlled conditions, emphasizing importance of balanced digital consumption. I requested that kindly note this term. It's a much bigger concept, digital engagement. And in that, there is a subsection that balanced digital consumption. It's not just not like eating. It is, what does this mean? Digital consumption of the time, consumption of time, which we are digitally consuming, technologically consuming, physically involving our body with the digital consumption. We are involving our eyes. We are involving our brain. People are keeping smartphones on under the blanket with them. Kids are keeping them under the blanket and watching in dark. Digital consumption. Is this balanced digital consumption? What generations we are preparing? Prophet, peace be upon him, said, and it includes all such things. If you raise your children, particularly your girls, because they're the mother, going to be the mothers. They will be reproducing generations. If you raise them on the right path, if you make them stand on the right path, walk on the right path, then Jannat is guaranteed for you. Jannat is not guaranteed just, just for offering nawafil. There are various aspects, not one aspect of life. Everything which is done in the way of God or according to the model of the Prophet for the betterment of yourself, your shakhsiyat, your personality, and for your family, and at the larger level for the culture, for the good of the society, it is ibadat, sadqa. And then Reddit CEO, co-founder, and his wife, both the names are given, prioritize offline activities for their daughter. Prioritize offline activities for their daughter. In the beginning, I said that it is not just saying that we have limited the digital time, we have limited the screen time, okay, but how they are spending their time offline with the dead objects, with the robots, with the androids, and there is a lot of immorality also involved in these toys. How this offline activity, how all these offline activities are being performed. And then she says she prioritizes for her girl. And if I go to the hadith of Prophet, peace be upon him, if she can raise the daughter on the Sarat al-Mustaqim, then the Jannat is guaranteed for her. What is she doing? She's saving her girl from immorality. Do we look into these aspects? And in this case, they restrict the screen time. It is just one step. What we have been discussing from last time, it is just one step. The screen time is just one step. But the bigger concept is management of digital time. And then there are so many other steps within that. Strict screen time is one aspect. They restrict digital screen time and encourage her daughter to engage with traditional toys. Traditional toys. Here the word has been used very carefully. I've highlighted it in red. Traditional toys. Not against the digital toys, not against the robotic toys, not against the androids. You can understand what does that mean. Tradition, when we say traditional toys, it means the toys which the families have been using since long, which can be used morally in the family, in the society, by the children, by the daughters, by the sisters, by the brothers and sisters who can play with these toys. Traditional toys, the emphasis is traditional toys, not any sort of toy which we go and buy from the market. And activities that stimulate creativity and imagination. Do we look at this aspect, whether it is encouraging creativity and imagination, tafakkur, tawakkul, tazakkur. Why Quran is using these words? أَفَلَا تَدَبَّرُونَ أَفَلَا تَذَكَّرُونَ أَفَلَا تَأْكِلُونَ. Creativity and imagination. And these are not my words. I've given, you have seen right from the beginning, I have given the references. Steve Jobs, a big name. Steve Jobs' kids didn't have iPad. The founder, the creator, his kids did not have iPad. How many of us here who have children, and those who have children, they don't have iPad? I think, very safely say that all of us who have children, they have iPads. But Steve Jobs' kids didn't have iPad. Kindly look at these references. Maybe they are wrong. Don't believe me. Go to these references. Find out whether they have reported right about Steve Jobs or not. Steve Jobs' kids didn't have iPad. Steve Jobs, he was a developer of the iPads and iPhones, spoke about how he didn't let his children use them at all in their homes, at all, repeated, at all, at their homes. And you had seen Bill Gates that during dinner time, around the table, the gadgets are not allowed. No electronic gadget, no digital life around the table, dining table. But here it says that the Steve Jobs children could not use these things, iPad, at all in their homes. They are selling these things in the market, but not allowing their own children. And we say that the Western society is not good and we are very good. Research and studies, these are individuals, but not ordinary individuals. These are giants of the technology and digital life. Research and studies. At the institutional level, I brought a very few. American Psychological Association recommends limiting, limiting, limiting the use of technology to 1 hour per day, 1 hour per day out of 24, 1 hour, just 1 hour of high quality programming for children ages 2 to 5. Now, what does this mean? That we have to first of all find a high quality programming. We are giving trash to the children. The children are selecting themselves, they're opening the smartphone themselves, the screen themselves, and going to anywhere they like. High quality programming for children ages 2 to 5. Children ages 2 to 5, particularly this age, high quality programming. If you don't know, let us consult the somebody. What is this high quality programming which children can watch and see or consume? And that also only 1 hour per day, not more than that. I had given an example of Australia. They were limited to about 1 hour by the school. They watch it, they monitor it. There is an audit system for watching these iPads of the children. And they have instructed the parents, don't allow them computers and smartphones other than what the school has allowed, which can be monitored and audited. For children ages and up, it's most important to set consistent, with constancy, consistent limits on various types of media. And in this regard, social media is at the top. Consistent limits, not just limits, consistent limits on various types of media. Again, kindly check it. Check these references online. Go on the internet and kindly watch it. In some studies, especially in early adolescent period, I had given you the problem of an adolescent boy who was brought to me. Adolescent period, 12 to 15. Bipolarity is increasing, anxiety is increasing, depression is increasing because, and I say it with confidence, because I read it. That is why I can say it with confidence, because of the digital consumption, mentally, psychologically, even physically, which is destructive, especially in the early adolescent period, 12 to 15 years of age. More than 3 hours a day was associated with negative mental health outcomes, which includes bipolarity disorder, anxiety, depression, blood pressure in an early age. And these are studies. These studies have shown that there's a negative mental health, there are negative mental health outcomes. Many experts suggest waiting to give your kids a smartphone at least 13 years old or in 8th grade. This is just one of the recommendations. But you have seen that some people go even beyond 15 years. But even after 15 years, they limit time. And even as adults, for yourself and for myself, even for us, there is a limit and there should be a limit of time. We should manage ourselves. It's not that it's only for kids. The limits and the management is only for the kids. It is for us also. And for every point which I am very humbly submitting for you, I have given a reference. I seek forgiveness, that kindly forgive me if you don't like it. But I have been facing this problem during these sessions. That is why I brought it before you. And I think is one of very important issues. Studies have shown that excessive screen time and media multitasking. This is important to note. Note the behavior of your child. Media multitasking. They open more than one windows. They open more than one programs. And they watch them at the same time. They play at the same time. There is another type of multitasking also. They are eating and watching. They are eating and playing games on the screens, which is very dangerous, not only for the stomach, for every sensitive organ of the body and for the brain particularly. Can negatively affect executive functioning, sensor motor, sensory motor development of the child, and academic outcomes. And there are many other studies which have been projected that these are negative. Early screen exposure has been associated with lower cognitive abilities. It hampers the cognitive abilities of the children, lower cognitive abilities. The parents showed me the performance of the child in their schools when they were not using and when they were using excessively the screen time. And academic performance in later years. It appears in the later years also. These are studies. It's not just a recommendation. It's not my finding. These are studies. And kindly verify from these references. And then ages 7 to 11, limited features, strict supervision. Strict supervision of the parents. It's not even when it is limited by the, for example, schools in Australia, whatever the limited use has been allowed, it is also again under supervision. So with parental controls, supervision of parents, and being audited by the schools under school supervision, which website they visited, with proper guidance and monitoring. Many times, just telling them doesn't work. You have to properly keep guiding. Even 14 to 18 and even above requires responsible usage and parental oversight. Responsible. Responsibility is the essence of the character of a Muslim. Without responsibility, there's no right. And without responsibility, go through the entire Quran. There's no concept of Islam and no concept of a good Muslim or even a Muslim. requires a responsible usage and parental oversight. It is the responsibility of the parents to oversee, to supervise. The term iPad kid has appeared, refers to certain generation alpha children, alpha generation, born since 2010. Now they are called iPad kids. The children born since 2010 have been given the name iPad kids, who seem constantly glued to their tablets, want technological stimulation at all times. They can't eat without technological stimulus, screen popping up, and become upset when their devices are taken away. If the Wi-Fi doesn't work, they are upset. Their mood is off. They can't work. They can't talk to you. They become lazy, lethargic. They don't feel hunger. They don't feel hungry. Now, with this note here, that there's no concept of a Muslim without being responsible. I finish here. You kindly look into this as parents. What is our responsibility, even if there is some resistance which has to be managed properly, Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك اللهم لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت. اللهم ادخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين. اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الجهل والوهم إلى نور العلم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم اكفنا بحلالك عن حرامك وبطاعتك عن معصيتك وفضلك عمن سواك. اللهم فضلك ورحمتك على كتم الحق والدين. اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين يا أكرم الأكرمين. Oh Allah, spread your mercy upon us, shower us with your blessings, increase our knowledge, grant us forgiveness, and reward us with the company of the prophets in the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, forgive our parents and all our friends who have passed away. Oh Allah, make their graves a garden from heaven and grant them the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, we have many of our friends and relatives who are sick. Oh Allah, we have our son Ma'raj, our daughter Aishawani, and many others. Oh Allah, grant all of them full and speedy recovery. Oh Allah, guide our children, protect them, and make them righteous. Oh Allah, grant us the power and the ability that we may be grateful for the favor which you have bestowed upon us and our parents, and that we may do righteous deeds that are pleasing to you. Oh Allah, we seek from you all of the good, whether we know it or we don't. And we seek your refuge from all evil, whether we know it or we don't. Oh Allah, we have many of our brethren who are under oppression and injustice, particularly those in Palestine. Oh Allah, heal their trauma, protect their helpless, and grant them lasting peace and prosperity. Oh Allah, we ask you every name you have elected for yourself, that none of us leave this gathering, but his pains have been relieved, his worries have been removed, his debts have been paid, his weaknesses have been concealed, his sins have been forgiven, and his needs have been fulfilled. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.